Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at two GMT watches. VanBanner is definitely a micro brand. I'm not sure if Yema is still considered a micro brand or not. But anyway, the VanBanner was provided to me, so I'll try to mark the video as a paid promotion. And the Yema I purchased used a while ago, and I don't believe they offer this watch anymore for sale. But at one point, this watch was offered for $829 from Yema, and the VanBanner, as of the time of the recording, is just under $300. I'll leave a link in the description to both of these watches, to the website for both of these watches. So they both have sapphire crystal, they both have rotating bezels, and they are both stainless steel bezels. The VanBanner has a 48-click bi-directional bezel. So you can click it in both directions, rotate it in both directions, as you should with the GMT watch. And this is a fully loomed bezel insert. The Yema, it's kind of a screwy system. You have this crown you must unscrew, and then that releases the bezel lock. And this is unidirectional only, and it's 120 click. So it's basically just a dive bezel with the GMT markings on it. Not really impressed with that, especially for the price of the watch. See if I can line that up. Looks to be pretty close there. Let's screw the crown back down. I don't care for this system either. Not on a GMT watch at least. But anyway, there is that nice box dome sapphire crystal. I like that. I like the overall look of the watch. It has the 1960s or 1970s kind of skin diver feel to it. Stainless steel. It is all brushed. No polishing on this watch, and you do have drobe lugs. The VanBanner is a sandblasted finish. The case side there is engraved with the name of the company. You do have polished chamfered edges there, and then the center links of the bracelet are polished as well. Yes, this is a butterfly clasp. You do get two of these 1.5 links, so you can get it sized pretty well to your wrist. And it does have quick release pins, solid end links, solid links, held in place with screws. The Yema, solid end links, solid links, held in place with pin and collar. You do have a stamped clasp here. And this portion is milled. You also do get a dive extension, a milled dive extension, and then 4 micro adjust on that clasp. It is a friction clasp, kind of old school, but with the safety clasp, it's held in place pretty securely, and it is signed with the Yema logo right there. So this one has the maxi markers, which means the large markers. It does of course have date, and everything on here is printed, and it's a matte black dial. This version of the Adroit has the blue dial. You can also get it with a black dial, but they both have this sand textured dial. And then also it is a sandwich dial, meaning the dial is cut out for the lume to show through below. We have a date there with the color matched date wheel. It might be black, but it blends in really well considering this is a fume dial, meaning it goes from lighter color to darker color at the edges. And we do have a push-pull signed loomed crown. Drobe lugs on this also. So I don't mind a push-pull crown only. I prefer this over a screw-down crown, just my preference. And as I demonstrated earlier, this one has a screw-down crown. 300 meters, 990 feet. That's 300 meters of water resistance. And this one is, I believe, 100 meters of water resistance. Yes, 100 meters water resistance. Anyway, there's a look at the movement there. This has the Seiko NH34 movement, GMT, 6 beats per second, 41 hours of power reserve, 41 hours of power reserve. The Yema has the Yema 3000 GMT movement, 8 beats per second, so that second hand is moving a little more smoothly than the VanBanner, and 42 hours of power reserve. Now, both of these, or I should say neither of these, are a true GMT. They are both what is called an office GMT, meaning when you pull the crown out, in this case to the first position on this watch, it will set the date in the GMT hand, and on this one you unscrew the crown and that first position is hand winding, and then the first click out will be same thing. You will adjust the GMT hand and the date, and then when you pull the crown all the way out, you're adjusting the time. So a true GMT, when you pull the crown out to that first position, depending on if it's screwed down or not, but the second position or the first position, you're adjusting that hour hand. So you're adjusting your local time. And you cannot adjust the date independently. It's on this position, this watch. You can't adjust the date independently. You have to cycle the hour hand all the way through. So my preference is actually for an office GMT, even though it's not a true GMT. Just because I don't wear the same watch all the time. If I were to wear the same watch all the time, don't have to worry about the date, then I prefer a true GMT. So let's talk about the dimensions on both of these watches. This one here we have female end links. Let me zoom back out a bit. Female end links, so lug to lug on the case is your true overall lug to lug. 46.2, 40 millimeter diameter, 13 millimeter thick, 20 millimeter lug width, and this watch does taper down to 18. Nice large crown on here, 7 millimeter crown. Size for my 6.5 inch wrist, it weighs in at 142 grams. So let's go over the specs of the Yema, and then we'll try both of these on wrist. One downside to this Yema is it does have long lugs just on the case itself, 49.7 millimeter, and then when you consider the bracelet, it has male end links, and then even worse, these links here don't really articulate, so that really adds to the overall lug to lug distance, which comes out to 59.5 millimeter. This has got to be the largest I've ever had on watch in hand with that lug to lug dimension. 41.7 the bezel diameter, does slightly overhang that case. 20 millimeter lug width, that's from here to here, and then the bracelet does expand out to 23 millimeter. It does taper down very nicely to 16, and all that tapering happens within these first 3 links here, so kind of a unique looking watch. I still think it's a good looking watch, and I'll demonstrate that on wrist here in a moment. 6.4 millimeter signed screw down crown. Again, that gives you 300 meters of water resistance. Size for my 6.5 inch wrist, it weighs in at 142 grams. Yeah, this watch is also made in France. Not sure if I pointed that out, but it does say that down here. I think that's cool, being made in a different country. You know, having each country manufacture a watch is a very cool thing. VanBanner, I'm pretty sure, is made in China and imported to Canada. These watches, the company is based in Canada, so these watches ship from Canada. Okay, let me get the Yema on wrist first. Then we'll check out the VanBanner. Now pay attention to the lugs. They are really long in this watch, and my wristband is only 52 millimeter, so this thing definitely overhangs my wrist. The newer version of these watches appear to have more of a female end link, so you shouldn't have this really long lug to lug on the bracelet. I like the dial. I mean, overall I like the styling of this watch. It just doesn't really fit me all that well. And here's that nice taper I was talking about. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out here. You know, let me zoom on a little bit more, give a little bit different perspective. Yeah, still looks big on my wrist. Not bad. Well, still 14mm thick, but not too bad considering it's 300-meter water resistant. This one, on the other hand, 13 mils thick and 100-meter water resistant, but definitely fits my wrist better. Just a smaller watch, and then the lug-to-lug is nice and compact. And then there's the benefit of the butterfly clasp. It just looks continuous all the way through. I have it sized a little bit loose to account for wrist swelling. I do like this fluorescent red with the blue dial. Kind of looks orangish to me, but it's a fluorescent red. All right, let's compare the loom. All right, we have the Yema Superman on the left, of course, and the VanBanner Adroit on the right. And actually, I would say the loom is pretty comparable between these two watches. Both the handsets are about the same brightness. The hands are brighter than the indices on both the watches as well. So, the loom actually compares quite nicely. And then you can see the bezel is loomed on the VanBanner, and then you have loom pips on both of these as well. Well, that will conclude this video. As always, thank you for your time, and thank you for watching.